And these guys, the U.S. Postal Service, man, what happened to like? So it used to be, you know, car manufacturers, the Postal Service, federal employees, county employees, and things like that. They had all the great benefits and all the packages and all this stuff to protect their employees and all of that. People would go in and they do a good job and they would make a good wage and have all these fantastic benefits and retirement and all that. But now it's gotten to the point to where all the good, high-quality workers are going to the private sector, and the good jobs that have some sort of protection and good benefits and retirement and all that. The people, the place that are hard to get fired from. They're not getting taken up by people who don't give a shit. People who just take the job because it's impossible to get fired from, and so. That's a little disappointing. So I mailed the check because I bought this sight unseen. Well, not sight unseen. I saw it online. I sent a friend to go look at it in person. They lived in the area. I sent them to go look at it in person, and they gave me the thumbs up on it. So I bought it, remotely. And I sent the check certified mail, tracking number, all that. Cool. Sent it on a Friday. Was told it would arrive the following Tuesday. It arrived 2 weeks later. And it's not like it went that far. It went from northern Virginia to eastern Missouri. Like, how can you screw that up? And it's not just that. Like, it's everything. I mean, we regularly lose mail with our mail system that we have in our neighborhood and our local branch. And then you go into the branch, and it's just this... Like, you get better service at Walmart than you get at the post office most of the time. There are a couple branches out here that I like to use that are the most pleasant people I've dealt with in the Postal Service in quite a while. But, how is it that hard to do the job? You make good money. I mean, by no means are you going out and buying, upper-level BMWs and things like that, but you could walk in and you could buy high-quality 3 Series, a mid-grade 5 Series, and that's just being there 5 years. You've got the pension, so you're good, and you're taken care of for years to come in the future. I just don't get, like, how the world has gone fucked up with, customer service doesn't exist anymore unless you're dealing with high-end items, and, that in itself is something else, because if you've got somebody who's commission-based, well, I can't even say that, because in the past, and it's been the same person. I bought multiple items from this one dealer, one retail location, whatever you want to call it. Dealt with the same salesperson, and in the past, the service was phenomenal. And now this time, it's kind of been like, well, let me call them and see what happened. Let me see, what am I supposed to do with this? What am I supposed to do with that? You're like asking questions, trying to get information about, like, look, I know I bought it or I'm going to buy it. You've got my money. Like, what now? What next? No thank you. No congratulations. No nothing. Like, you don't get that anymore. So it's like, that's kind of really been irking me since I lost my shit in the post office. And I actually went in, I was going to cancel the check and wire the money. So I had to pay money to cancel the check. I had to pay money to wire the amount of money over. So, and I was actually sitting in the office of the bank telling them, I want to cancel the check and wire the money. Filling out the form to wire the money so she can start the wire. And then I have to fill out a form to cancel the check. And, well, luckily, while I was doing that, I got a text notification from the Postal Service about the tracking and saying that it had arrived at St. Louis. This had been like 10 days later. Like, somehow they lost it between Richmond, Virginia, and I think it was the St. Louis location out there in Missouri. Like, how the fuck? Like, how is it so difficult? A service that's been around for 100 and some odd years, now all of a sudden, nobody can figure out how to work it. And all I could say is that goes down to the quality of the people that are still working there. You know, or not still working there, the quality of the people that are currently working there. Because I think part of the issue is, you know, the previous generation who took quality in their work, whether it was shining shoes or delivering mail or freaking building skyscrapers, it didn't matter. Like, you took pride in what you did. You looked forward to the day that you got to retire. You know, a lot of those guys, you know, Social Security's not doing enough. I mean, that's a whole other rant that I could go down, but I try not to get too political. I'm just, you know, like, society's not, like, I get it. You know, you want to make $100,000. I get it. You want to buy all these big, nice things that you see on Instagram, and that's part of the problem. You know, everybody's seeing these lives and stuff like that all these Instagram millionaires are living, and they just think that, you know, they can just jump in and just get it right away. And they're not willing to put the work in. And you know, we're going to see, and luckily this is something I've learned in the last couple years, probably 4 or 5 years, is that big ass truck. You know, chasing these Instagram dreams and buying all the super nice stuff, basically just living to make the money to buy the things that you think are nice, that are supposed to be nice. It isn't what life is about. And I think that that's leading to, you know, the downfall of taking pride in your work. And you get, you know, the whole financial side. I understand that the Postal Service is barely surviving. But, you know, that doesn't mean, just because you're barely surviving, it doesn't mean that the guys working at the Postal Service aren't making good money. It's not that you can't take pride in your work or anything like that. Like, you know, it's not an excuse. It could be an excuse as to why, you know, they're still rolling around in their long life vehicles and, you know, maybe running conveyor belts and shit like that. Then they could be doing robots and all kinds of other crazy things like Amazon. That's an excuse for not making money. Poor service and poor, you know, it's service at the end of it. Losing mail, it just shouldn't have happened. And it happens more than it should. And I think it all comes down to there's not a whole lot of people in these trades that take a lot of pride in what they do. You know, I mean, you look at the guys who worked in Detroit 50, 60 years ago, you know, 70 years ago, back at the height of Motor City and the height of Detroit and all that. You know, these guys were making great money. These guys had great benefits. And these guys took a lot of pride in what they were doing. You know, they loved the cars they drove, they built, they bought them, they owned them. You know, it was a little bit different back then when, you know, the expectation was to have a family, and, you know, a lot of people had big families, and you could afford a house, and, you know, afford a house easily. I think a lot of people, I've had a house, I've had my toys, I've had all that, and I've never made amazing money. I've just been quite good with my money. So, I mean, you know, it's tough that how times have changed and now people don't take things as seriously as they did in the past, and, you know, good work ethic doesn't really exist.